Hey there, this is going to be a long one, but please stay and watch it. Now, I have a question for you all. Destiny 2, what does it mean to you all? I know what it means to me, however, it's hard to describe. To be honest, it's a journey of sorts. So let me tell it so that you might understand. I bought Destiny 2 when it first came out. After a bit, I stopped playing. Up until Shadowkeep, at least. Prior to it, I had bought the Forsaken Annual Pass, but due to not having an expansion, it wouldn't let me play. It was an error specifically. Anyways, around that time, Shadowkeep became free for all players, and the issue with the Forsaken Annual Pass got fixed too. So I had all the DLCs but Shadowkeep. But after a bet with an acquaintance at the time to kill a yellow bar enemy in the GM, I was gifted with it. And within the next week, I was taken into my first raid, Spire of Stars to be specific. Within the next month, I would attempt Garn for the first time, Garn of Salvation, which was the new raid at that point. I was around 20 or 10 light below and didn't have enough good weapons. But after a bit of grinding, I went back in. However, the goal in mind was to have my first completion of it as my Divinity run. I spent a long time in that raid. Any of my spare time was allocated to it. I went into Garden as soon as I got home from school, every single day for 2 weeks, and stayed up till 12 to 1 a.m. Obviously, my grades suffered due to this. However, I didn't care much. Around March of 2020, lockdown occurred for the big C, a specific virus. I was incredibly happy at that point, obviously, because there was no school and I was in high school at the time, final year. However, that didn't last long, as soon in May of that year, I lost my childhood dog. Stuff started to become depressing, sad. It wasn't really working out for me. Shit turned for the worst, and I thought that, I should have spent more time with him, should have loved him more instead of playing video games. But after a while, I realized that I shouldn't regret it. I should show to him that me playing Destiny was worth it. Was worth it all in the end, right? So I started to get serious with it for the first time ever with the game. And then, after Season of Rivals, Deepstone Crypt came in. My motivator for everything was to show my dog, right? That wasn't meaningless, as I said before. However, when Deepstone Crypt came around, it made me realize that I was woefully unprepared and was stopped at 8 tracks, even though my team was literally ahead of almost all, if not all, the streamers by a landslide. Most of them were still stuck on security at the time. After taking a small break until the end of the season, almost half a year after Deepstone Crypt, VOG was set to come out, and this time I was completely prepared. However, I had picked some teammates that, while I had trusted, were not prepared either. Specifically, half the raid team. We stopped at Gatekeeper at 10 p.m. due to most of the people having to get off for stuff like school, work, that type of thing. I grew more and more in the time before Vow the Disciple. However, we fell at Rolk. Over and over again, there's been a pattern. I keep falling before that. I keep falling before I can finish the raid. I do not complete it. There's always something that stops me from completing the day one. And so I took a break, stopped playing for a bit, just to, let myself relax. And King's Fall came around. However, the issue with the team this time was that there was an argument that broke out that started the encounter of totems specifically, and an argument broke out between between the whole group, causing either most of the people to make excuses as to why they weren't they left, like the power was knocked out or they had work or something happened, and it didn't really make me feel very good because they kicked out a friend of mine, and then most of them left afterwards. I had to go from War Priest all the way to Orcs, and for the first time ever, I completed a day 1 raid, while not challenge, at 11:40 a.m. 20 minutes before the day 1 was up. While I didn't get the challenge, and it sucked that I didn't, I pushed myself harder. I got all the raid titles. I got flawless every single raid in the game. Did 2 trios, and then did solo flawless every single dungeon at the time that was out. Ruined Nightmares came. It happened. We got it, but it was contest. It was not day 1, so it sucked for me. We had one little mole, one guy that I should have looked at more. The rest of the team was beautiful, and because of that, we did not get day 1. Anyways, throughout the time between Ron and now, I have done so much preparing, so much playing. I have trioed almost every single raid except like 3 that are out right now, and just grown as much as I could. I have now gathered a team of people that I know and are incredibly good. At least I've at least played some type of hard endgame content with them, whether it be a master raid, master challenge, day 1, whatever. And in my 4 years of playing Destiny, I've grown as a more experienced and capable person, knowing things that most of the non-sweaty part of the community will drop their jaw at. And I've experienced my own hardships while it's been happening. With this, I wanted to say that I know some people are, for lack of a better word, not very enthusiastic about getting Finalshape. And I understand that, however, my goal has been to get a day 1 from this game and to gain a prestigious emblem, dumping thousands of hours into the game for that very reason. I understand. And now with Finalshape being the last DLC in Raid, I pre-ordered it because I want to see this through to the end. But I ask the Bungie team something. To put their soul into this, and if need to, push back the expansion. I'd rather an amazing send-off against the big bad, the Witness. To have an expansion that's better than Taken King or Forsaken, rather than something rushed. I want to say thank you so much for everything, Bungie. This game has been with me through a lot and has helped me a lot. I have met a lot of people that have been really kind to me. Thank you.